Hello, it's Glenn Rawson. And today, by my watch, April 30th, 2024. And I'm just coming to you from the farm, and I wanted to share with you a story that probably shouldn't be forgotten, that some of you might find interesting. A little piece of our history. You'll remember that from December 1st, 1838, till April of 1839, Joseph was in Liberty Jail in Liberty, Clay County, Missouri. While he was there, he had corresponded with certain individuals, Isaac Galland and others, and had heard of large tracts of land that were available for the building of a city on the banks of the Mississippi. Well, when Joseph finally got out of prison, one of the first things he did within 2 weeks of getting out of jail is he went north up the river to meet with a man named Hugh White for the purposes of negotiating land for the sale and for the building of a city. Well, as Joseph arrived in the area to negotiate with Hugh White, Philo Dibble was there, and he said, Joseph and the brethren were talking about this offer when some of them said, we can't buy it for the lack of money. Joseph then took out his purse, Philo said, emptying out its contents, and offered $50 to one of the brethren, which he declined. But Joseph urged him to take the $50. Well, then he gave a similar amount to each of the brethren that were there. And when it was all done, Philo said, addressing the brethren, he said, now, you all have money and I have none. But the time will come when I will have money and you will have none. Then he said, he told Bishop Vincent Knight, you go back and buy the farm. End of quote. You see the story? Faith. Joseph now had no money, but was intent on buying the farm because it was what the Lord had told him to do. Well, in the negotiations, Hugh White, the man who owned that tract of land, raised the price 3 times till eventually the price was $2,800. But finally, the agreement was struck and Philo continued his quote. He said, the bargain was closed and the obligations drawn up. But how the money was going to be raised, neither Brother Knight nor the other brethren could see. The next morning, Joseph and several of the brethren went down to Mr. White's to sign the agreement and make the first payment on the land. No money. A table was brought out and the papers upon it, and Joseph signed them, moved back from the table and sat with his head down as if in deep thought. Just then, a man drove up in a carriage and asked if Mr. Smith was there. Joseph, hearing it, got up, went to the man, and the man said, good morning, Mr. Smith. I'm on a speculation today. I want to buy some land, and I thought I would come and see you. Joseph then pointed around where his land lay, and the man said, well, I can't go with you today to see the land. Do you want any money this morning? Joseph replied that he would like some, and when the stranger asked how much, he told him $500. The man walked into the house with Joseph, emptied a small sack of gold on the table, and counted out that amount, and then handed Joseph another $100. Say, Mr. Smith, I make you a present of this. After this transpired, Joseph, quoting, laughed at the brethren and said, you trusted in money, but I trusted in God. Now I have money and you have none. You might recognize that story. From that initial purchase of land, May 1st, 1839, tomorrow, from that initial purchase of land and those that would follow, on the banks of the Mississippi River grew the city of Nauvoo. Born of a miracle, raised a miracle, the land of the prophets. This is Glenn Rawson. That story I just told you comes from this book, Joseph Smith Jr., Testimonies of Those Who Knew Him. You have a nice day, and I will see you later.